Hi guys, welcome back. So a bit of a fun game here for Christmas, one you want to play with your friends around the Christmas table. Don't worry about Trivial Pursuit, play World Cup Predictor. So we're going to give it a go. We're still quite a long way from the World Cup, but hey, we're at the end of 2018, so we're going to give it a go. So up on the screen, I'll have all the images I'm going to use. So we've got the world rankings at the moment. And of course, we've got New Zealand 1, then Ireland, Wales, England, South Africa, Australia. Scotland, Fiji, France and Argentina making the top 10, then with Japan, USA, Georgia coming below that. So the first game I'm going to play with World Cup Predictor is, what would happen if it just goes by rankings? We're starting slow here. So nice and simply, we'll see Pool A here. This looks like a fairly straightforward pool going on the rankings with Ireland and Scotland pushing through. I know you're thinking, well, Japan could upset one of those guys potentially, but on the rankings definitely saying no. In Pool B, then we have New Zealand and South Africa going through easy, 1 and 2. In Pool C, which is the pool of, not quite the pool of death again for England, but the pool of pain, shall we say. England and France would go through on rankings, although you can see that one's a bit closer. And then Pool D, you'd see Wales going through 1, Australia 2 on rankings. Again, we'll talk about Fiji later. So that would give us in the quarterfinals, Ireland versus South Africa. And on rankings, Ireland win that, although it'll be a juicy affair there. Wales-France, we see Wales winning that. I think Wales would quite fancy that quarterfinal actually. New Zealand-Scotland. Again, Scotland would hate that quarterfinal. New Zealand might quite like fancy it actually. New Zealand going through on rankings. England-Australia, always a tasty affair. May depend on where it's playing and the conditions as well, but England would go through on rankings at the moment and past history between those two teams. So that would give you a semi-final of Ireland versus Wales. So how cool is that? Ireland versus Wales for a chance to get in the World Cup final. Would love to see that one. Be really, really competitive. But Ireland would win on rankings. Of course, they're 2 and 3 though, so that would be a tasty game. England, New Zealand. On rankings, you'd expect New Zealand to be quite a long way ahead of England, although depending on conditions and how teams play, could be closer. But then it would give you the final of Ireland versus New Zealand, the 1 versus 2 that everyone's been talking about. With, of course, if it goes on rankings, it would be a New Zealand win, but anyone's game in the final. So there we go, that's our first little game. Now, other games, I want you to comment below, pop the different scenarios into the predictor. You can get loads of predictors online and work out who would win. Now, there's a scenario I thought might happen, which is avoid the big boy, which is basically avoiding New Zealand. But now with Ireland looking so strong, almost equally as strong as New Zealand, you can't really avoid the side of the draw. So that tactical resting of players, which still may happen, is going to be less important because either way you're going to be on the side of the draw of New Zealand or Ireland, although you definitely don't want to be in a quarter-final with either of those. You want to save that till the semi ideally, or until someone else knocks them out, to be honest. So the game I'm going to play for you is the minor upsets game. So guess who's going to win? Basically every game that is really, really close, I'm going to give to the underdog. If there's too big a gap, I'm just going to give it to the favourite. And let's see who comes out on top. It's really interesting. I ran it through and we've got an interesting winner. So in Pool A, I didn't see a minor upset actually. Japan are looking good. They look good against England. But I still feel, maybe you could argue, Scotland, Japan could be a minor upset. I'd still say it's a major upset. So I'm going to still go with Ireland, Scotland. I'd say Scotland beating Ireland would still be a major upset. So I'm sticking with Ireland 1, Scotland 2 in Pool A. So no upsets there at all. Pool B, South Africa have beaten New Zealand before. If South Africa get their game right on, I'm just about classing that as a minor upset. You might say it's major. So I'm having South Africa 1, New Zealand 2. I don't see Italy, Namibia or Canada challenging them at all on the minor upset scale. So I'm just swapping around who's 1 and 2 there. Pool C, the pool of pain. There's loads of scope for upsets here. England could easily lose to Argentina or France. France are a very emotional team traditionally, so they could pull out big wins but also play poorly and bomb out. So, I'm saying, I'm being nice to England here, I'm putting England at 2, saying France or Argentina beat them. I'm not putting Argentina through. You can play around with that one. So I'm going France and England 1 then 2. In Pool D, I'm seeing Australia beating Wales as a major upset actually, just from watching them, looking at the world rankings, looking at how they're playing. I see that being quite a long way apart actually, so I'm sticking with Wales and Australia there. Don't think Fiji beating either would be just huge. I think it'd be huge, so I don't think it'd be minor, even though they're capable. It just depends how well they get together as structure. So I'm still saying that's major. Okay, so quarterfinals would be in the minor upset, pardon me, table. Ireland playing New Zealand in the quarterfinals. So again, with a minor upset, that would be an Ireland win on the world rankings. So New Zealand out in the quarterfinals on this game. Quarterfinals, England-Wales. Now Wales are currently performing better in the world rankings than England, looking really strong as well. So England is a minor victory there, minor upset. So England through against Wales. South Africa, Scotland. I think Scotland beating South Africa is a minor upset, could definitely happen, has happened. And then we've got France, Australia. Australia you would fancy there potentially. They're well ahead on the world rankings, their World Cup pedigree, although France have got a good World Cup pedigree, but on the rankings saying France win there. So that gives us semi-final of Ireland-England, so really, really tasty. I am saying it is a minor upset for England to beat Ireland. Maybe that's because I'm English. Tell me if I'm wrong, that's a major upset if that happens, but I'm putting England through to the World Cup final. Yay. And then in the semi-finals, Scotland beating France. Again, we've got, oh actually, no, that's it. So France beating Scotland would be an upset, but actually I see Scotland as fair way ahead of France, unless France get emotionally up for it. So actually I'm putting Scotland through there as the win. So I'd say that's pretty big if they lost that one, but you could argue that one. So anyway, I've put Scotland through, so England versus Scotland in the final. Now, how close are they? I think they're pretty close. And I would see a minor upset being Scotland beating England. So, or if I put France through, I put France maybe as the minor upset. So either Scotland or France potentially winning the World Cup in that one. So Scotland I've put down here. So there we go, Scotland win the World Cup. Awesome. Okay, what I want you guys to do is put in your predictions, maybe play a major upset game, or maybe play a couple of minor upsets and one major upset and see what comes out. See what scenarios teams might go for, when they might rest players, where they might slip up. See if you can get your team winning. I haven't got England to win yet, but I'm sure I can get there if I try. Anyway, give it a go, comment below what you come out with, have a bit of fun with it, and I'll see you in the new year.